take you through the presentation. I call it a world of possibilities because it has turned out to be a world of possibility for me. And it can be the same for you because with the knowledge of IFRS, you can turn out to be a global resource who can serve anyone, anywhere in the world. So this is the new accounting being followed globally. So we had discussed about what is IFRS, ISB. I'll just take you through the presentation to strengthen it, what we have discussed, structure of IFRS Foundation, why IFRS IndAS financial statements, the level of impact on the companies which implemented it, the fundamental changes which happened, and what is convergence, how is it different from adoption, the process of convergence, the roadmap in India. IFRS is International Financial Reporting Standards, a set of uniform accounting which is being followed globally now, and almost all the countries are requiring or permitting the use of IFRS. They are issued by ISB. ISB is the IFRS governing body. IFRS was earlier known as IAC. From year 1973 to 2000, it was International Accounting Standards Committee. ISB was formed in 2001. So there are 16 members in ISB who develop these standards. IFRS today comprises of 17 IFRSs, 24 ISS, 18 IFRICs, and 7 SICs. This number keeps on changing with the development in new standard or replacement of the new standards or IFRICs. So this is the structure. There is an IFRS monitoring board above IFRS Foundation. This is being monitored by IOSCO, European Commission, Japan Financial Authority, Securities Exchange Commission of US. They are the monitoring body on IFRS Foundation. There are 22 trustees. How are these 22 trustees make it international in nature? So there are 6 people representing Asia and Oceania. There are 6 people representing Europe. There are 6 people representing Americas. So the total number turns out to be 18. 6 from America, 6 from Asia, Oceania, 12. 6 from Europe, 18. 2 members from Africa and 2 members from any other country which did not get representation. So there are 22 trustees which form IFRS Foundation. ISB had 16 members. Again, the standard formation is also through voting, that out of 16 members, if the majority of the members are in favor of issuing a standard, the standard gets issued. ISB also provides the comments of the people who are against the standard and why they were against it. IFRS Interpretation Committee has 14 members. IFRS Advisory Council has around 50 members. And there are working groups. Working groups consist of academicians, consist of chartered accountants, globally consists of the top financial controllers of companies. These working groups also help in formation of standards, raising the issues, and a new standard gets developed. Why IFRS financial statements? Because this helps in, so in US in 2007, the Securities Exchange Commission allowed that they can file financial statements in the form of IFRS. Earlier, they were requiring all the companies who were filing in US or who were listed on the US stock exchange, they had to convert their financial statements into US GAAP. But after 2007, they allowed that even if the financial statements are prepared in IFRS GAAP, they were allowed for filing in US, and they were not. The companies which are belonging to other countries but were listed on the stock exchange in US were allowed filing. That was one of the triggers for development on IFRS in 2007. Access for foreign capital. There's an investor in London who is willing to invest in India. If they don't understand our financial statements, they will not be investing in India. But if you have prepared financial statements on the basis of IFRS, like today we move to IndAS, and IndAS is more or less similar to IFRS. The investor sitting in Canada, the investor sitting in London, the investor sitting in Sydney can have faith in your financial statements and can think of investing in India now. Expanding your business because your reach widens. You can not only prepare financial statements of the companies in India. Now you're also becoming eligible to support the companies globally. And expanding your business, you get capital from around the world now because people have more faith in your financial statements. It saves time on consolidation purpose. Like earlier, every country had their own GAAP. If you are having an operation in Canada, you're having an operation in Hong Kong, you're having an operation in Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, we were first preparing financial statements according to their own GAAPs. And then we were converting them into the parent's GAAP. Suppose if the parent is sitting in India, all these countries we have operations, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, we were first converting them into their local GAAP, and then we were converting for the purpose of consolidation into the parent's accounting, that was Indian GAAP. This was a very cumbersome process. This was tiring, cumbersome process. Now this process is eased out now with introduction of IFRS. Now India is preparing financial statements on IndAS, Canada is preparing on IFRS, Hong Kong is preparing on IFRS. There are slight minor changes, and the consolidation process becomes simpler. We can easily prepare consolidated financial statements on in either of the gap, either in IndAS or either in IFRS. The life is easier for accountant today. It helps in easing out a lot of legal requirements because our contracts are in line with accounting. Now, if you notice, like IFRS 15, revenue from contracts with customers requires modification of contracts, requires preparation of contracts in line with accounting, because if there is a slight change in the contract, it can mean a different accounting. Slight change in leasing agreement can mean a different accounting. So this is going to help aligning contracts globally. Improves process and cost efficiencies, will save a lot of time in preparation of financial statements, reduced accounting complexity, and improved comparability and quality of reporting. You are able to compare your financial statements not only with other companies who are preparing financial statements on IFRS in the same sector. You can also compare your financial statements with other countries, because almost all the countries are following IFRS today. Level of impact depended on the nature of industry to which the company belonged. Like if it is manufacturing, service industry, like the impact of IFRS 15 or 16, if I talk in today's scenario, heavily leased companies like airplane industry is the most impacted one with the introduction of IFRS 16 leases. Manufacturing industries will also be impacted depending on how many contracts they have. IFRS 15 revenue from contracts with customers, level of impact will depend on what kind of company they are and how much this change is going to impact them. It depends on company to company, industry to industry, the nature of operations, geographical presence, in which countries they are located. If they're located in a country where they have been using IFRS earlier, since 2007, 2009, it will be easier to get it implemented. Financing policies of the company, marketing policies, all these decide accounting, manner of carrying on the operation, level of conflict with local laws. These all determine the level of impact of introduction of IFRS in a country. There were fundamental changes, like there was no concept of present value. If there is a 5 lakh of amount to be paid after 5 years, we were not discounting it to present value, but IFRS requires discounting everything. That if you are liable to pay something after 5 years, you should discount it to present value. The estimates and judgments require a lot of information today. Focus on risk and rewards. Recast previously issued financial statements. Now, if you are converting to new cap, you're moving on to IndAS, you are required to present 3 sets of financial statements. Lot of disclosure requirements. The concept of first time adoption is unique because IFRS introduced it for the first time. Now, this standard is something which is going to be used by any company or a country for the first time only once in their lifetime. Once they move to it, they do not need this standard. A country or a company uses this IFRS 1, first time adoption of IFRS, or IndAS 101, first time adoption of IndAS, only once in their lifetime. Once they go through this process of conversion, they do not need this standard, because then the relevant standard becomes applicable to them. Substance over form. It's not about the legal title. Who is actually receiving the benefits of the assets will be considered the real owner of the asset and will be recording the asset in their financial statements. The substance over form concept is highlighted through IFRS 16 leases now, with the right of use concept, that who is actually using the asset and who is actually owning the rights of use will be considered the owner of the asset and is required to bring that asset onto the balance sheet. Convergence means in harmony with IFRS. It's like designing and maintaining national accounting standards in a way that financial statements prepared in accordance with national accounting standards are in line with IFRS, draw unreserved statement of compliance with IFRS. In India, we cannot issue a statement of compliance with IFRS. We still issue a statement that the financial statements prepared a company in India are in compliance with IndAS. We cannot issue a statement of compliance with IFRS. We are in compliance with IndAS in India. Convergence means making it in compliance with IFRS. But if we move to IFRS word by word, we are not converging to IFRS. We are actually adopting IFRS. So Ministry of Corporate Affairs in India decided the date that will be moving to IFRS, and they are responsible for implementing it in India, though it is regulated. The issuing of standards is regulated by ICI. ICI issues standards in India. Ministry of Corporate Affairs is responsible for regulating it in India.